As to how ties between India and China have been bittersweet over the last few decades, to say the least. They've seen the share of ups and downs. The 73-day-long standoff in Doklam had resulted in a hike in tensions, and over the last few weeks there have been several twists and turns that have impacted the relations between India and China. The 73-day-long standoff in Doklam in August 2017 increased tensions on both sides, but the dawn of the new year seems to have brought with it the dawn of a new chapter in Sino-India ties. The two countries are attempting to resolve differences diplomatically, but perhaps it's it is the time to get creative and try another approach, or one of soft diplomacy. People-to-people contact between the countries could be a good place to start. Bollywood movies are a big hit in China over the last 1 year. Multiple Hindi movies have done brisk business there. But one area that remains unexplored is the educational system. It could serve to be a fresh channel to increase contact between the two countries. Indian students are increasingly picking Chinese universities over the traditional American or British ones. In 2016, in fact, 18,000 Indian students were studying in China, but the figures are not the same, vice versa. China is yet to see India as an emerging education market. Here's one way to change that: through business schools in India. Several B schools are ranked among the top 100 worldwide and are highly competitive, both in terms of cost and quality. The demand for high-end management talent is also very high in India, considering the services sector makes up for as much as 60% of the country's economy. With a greater presence of Chinese firms in India, there will be increasing demand for Chinese management graduates who are versed in the Indian market. This will create a market for Indian business schools to enroll Chinese students. These graduates can be assimilated into the Indian economy itself, or they can go back to their home country with a fresh perspective on India. In the long run, this could influence China's policy making toward India. Increased student exchanges between the two countries is not the only solution, and issues between the two countries cannot be resolved overnight. But newer opportunities like these can be explored to create positive engagement between India and China. Let's go straight across now to our correspondent in Beijing, Gaurav Sharma, who's joining us on the broadcast for more on that. Gaurav, to begin with, this is a new approach that's being considered by India and China to mend ties. What are the reactions that you've been getting in from Beijing on how this will solidify and bolster ties between India and China?
You have to see that the damage which was done to the India-China ties by Doklam. Both the countries have been trying to put in a lot of efforts to repair the damage, and it actually started happening after both Chinese President Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met in Xiamen summit. You have seen there has been both the sides have stepped up bilateral exchanges, mutual talk, bilateral exchanges, and if you see high-level visits by top politicians and top diplomats from both the countries. So yes, there is a sense that there is a kind of a camaraderie or bonhomie between both the countries, and they see each other as a kind of a natural partner now. Because if you see, day before yesterday, Chinese Foreign Ministry said that India and China can be a natural partner in fact in developing or for the development of Nepal. So you have to see both the countries have been trying to repair damage, and in fact tomorrow Sushma Swaraj is going to visit Beijing, and she is going to take part in SCO meeting, that is SCO Foreign Ministers meeting. So yeah, it's an important thing, and both the countries are making efforts to come close to each other and have a kind of a close cooperation in Asia.
Absolutely, but given the twists and turns that the relations between the two countries have seen, Gaurav, to say the least, there have been several ups and downs in the ties between the two countries. How much of an impact will this new approach really have?
You can make that out in diplomacy. Statements do matter, and if you see that China and India both have been, trying to, not put off or maybe tick off others, each other. And if you see, they have been making very positive statements. You know, there are sticking points between India and China, like CPEC and China's opposition to India's entry into the nuclear suppliers group, and they are also objecting to India's application at the UN to have Masood Azhar declared as international terrorist. However, if you see, for the past 3-4 months, there has been a kind of an approach, and both the countries actually have realized that they need to come and sit on the table and talk together and sort out their differences. And there will be issues, if you see the border issue is there, it's going to be there. But they know that that the border issue, we will resolve it. We have a mechanism there, the border mechanism. But there are other issues, so both the countries should not let other issues or sticking points affect other issues. You have education, you have in fact mutual exchanges, cultural exchanges. If you see, there was a 5th China Strategic Economic Dialogue which happened last year, and the Vice Chairman of Planning Commission said that we want to increase 5 working groups on India China to the groups of 5 joint economic groups to 7. So they want to include the joint working group on culture and as well as films. They want, because they really want, the Vice Chairman said that they want more and more Chinese people to be exposed to Indian culture in terms of movie, cinema and education.
Right. All right, that's a multifaceted approach that's being considered now to mend ties between the two countries. We're going to leave it there for the moment, Gaurav Sharma. Appreciate you joining us.